Hello, welcome to Adventure Ride and welcome to my office for the day. Today I'm going to tell you guys quickly about the Anlas Capra X tyres because I've spoken about them several times, but they are brilliant. For anyone who has a middleweight dual sport bike and wants to just cut to the chase and know what's a great tyre that does well in all conditions, Anlas Capra X. So most tyres are categorised by the manufacturers and retailers as sort of 50-50, 80-20, 20-80 and so on. And it can all be a bit confusing because in my experience those classifications can be quite meaningless and they can sort of mislead. If you have a 50-50 tyre on an adventure bike that you actually intend to do any kind of off-roading at all when it's wet or slippy or muddy or lots of different conditions apart from nice and dry and easy, a 50-50 tyre isn't really going to make your experience fun. It's going to detract from everything good about what you're doing. And in my experience, there are plenty of tyres out there that are more dedicated towards off-road that actually don't detract from the on-road experience at all. The Anlas Capra X is a perfect example of this. So unlike something like, sorry to name drop, but something like the Continental TKC80, it's a similarly knobbly tyre, 80% off-road, 20% on-road, but it isn't a good tyre to use on-road in most conditions. People quite universally complain about it, whereas Capra X, it's absolutely brilliant. I've used it through winters, I've used it in slippy conditions, I've used it in rallies where there's tarmac sections, and I've thrown this thing around considerably. Not only that, but the longevity is really good on this tyre as well, which is definitely something to think about when you're trying to do, particularly if you're doing longer journeys, if you're going to do any kind of intercontinental touring, you don't want to have to switch tyres halfway. This thing can do, according to other far more respected YouTubers than me, sort of 12,000 kilometres. I didn't get that much out of it, but I was doing a lot of stuff that would have degraded it pretty quickly compared to just your usual road kind of touring. So I think somewhere about 2/3 of that is probably fair if you're someone that puts the tyres through a little bit more abuse. But in all conditions, these have done so well. The only situation where I've found them wanting is at the very, very extremes of performance. So if you are going to enter something like a heavy enduro or a rally like the Baja Wales, which is a closed circuit event on off-road terrain, it's only when you're really competing where the seconds matter, albeit in a amateur capacity, but the seconds matter to you. You want to do as well as you can, and you notice that people on dedicated full off-road tyres have the edge. They'll simply be more traction out of corners, so they'll be able to accelerate quicker. There's been plenty of sort of uphill loose sections where it doesn't matter how much I'm hanging off the back and trying to sit down and get that traction. It's not working. It will get you there and it will do a really good job. It's just the delta between that really, really uncompromising knobbly tyre is quite big, and it's a lot of fun if you bother to switch to it. But anything outside of that specific sphere, those hardcore tyres, like the Rebel Explore tyre that I did the dedicated review on, that's the most hardcore tyre that will fit an adventure bike like this one with the size of wheels that are standard. It was amazing fun, but it was horrific the second that you're out of that scene. Whereas the Anlas Capra X in practice, it was good enough. I was sort of middle of the pack with it on, which was still sort of decent enough. But then when I put the other tyre on, I sort of was like, I don't know, a few places higher, but it didn't make me God. But yeah, this tyre is just really brilliant. The value factor as well is also pretty strong. So, I'm not going to state the price because they fluctuate depending on where you get it from and stuff and deals. But compared to most of the industry standards, this was a very, very good value tyre. And therefore, I recommend it highly. If anyone has any questions about the Capra X, then do leave that below. I'm by no means a tyre expert and I have not tried everything. But once you find something you like that excels beyond other things you've experienced, you stick with it. And I'd be happy to recommend these. I don't get anything out of doing this. We don't sell the tyres or anything at all. I just think they're really good and it's worthy of praise. So yeah, let me know your thoughts and comments below, and I will see you guys soon for more video reviews about the gear and the equipment and beyond. And it sounds like we've got some guys coming through, about to ruin the shot. Perfect timing. Take care, goodbye.